I will say this, when you touch the play, when you touch the, get the brass ring and you win. So in '86, the Mets win the World Series, thankfully, by the skin of their hair. The next year, they don't make the playoffs. And then in '88, they go back there, and they were headed on a collision course for the World Series until there was a story in the Daily News, and the Dodgers put it on the back page, and so shit home run. But '88, they were just as good, if not better. Same thing with the Yankees. '96, they win it all. '97, they don't. So '98, they were like, you know what, we want to get back to the top. '98 team was the team that was so good. The 100 whatever plus wins, and that was an unprecedented year. That was when they beat the Padres. So there's something to be said for, all right, you go to the mountaintop, then you come back the next year, you want to get back. You just want to get back. You've tasted it. You've tasted the champagne. You want to get it. But
or you build a moat. That's all.
Right. Well, and it's a weird thing also because they didn't have the extra rounds of the playoffs. In the '80s, if they had extra rounds of playoffs, the Mets would have made the playoffs in '85. They would have made it '80. That would have been a different kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
And again, it rubs me the wrong way. Can we not see the name Aaron Hernandez anymore in the paper?
They built a statue to him.
Please.
Who did this?
I'm sorry, Aaron Hernandez. I was thinking about Jose Fernandez. Sorry.
No, you know what I mean. No, well, I know.
Oh, Aaron Hernandez. We heard about his, what do you have? He ate 20...
honey buns.
Honey buns. Somehow he ate 20 honey buns.
Let's assume that the guy, he's gone. So let's use the word gone.
But as I had predicted on the show a few weeks ago, that in Massachusetts, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, anyone who had ever died before their appeal was heard automatically, as part of tradition, they vacate the sentence.
And then you saw his wife came out. Obviously, she had to give the letter that he sent to her back for evidence and stuff. On the letter, he wrote, "You're rich. You're rich."
And they're trying to figure out what he meant by that. I'm like, really? We have to wonder what he meant by that?
That's a question.
So how they give him back the...
Well, they kind of have to. I mean, there's going to... Anything that it's kind of odd because the civil suit is where all the money is going to come from. So she may have a house, and what she's going to get to keep is the mansion. But whatever money he had in the bank is going in the civil suit to the family of the victim. Is what's going to happen there.
And this whole thing happened. So you're telling me that Aaron Hernandez went to jail for life for killing a guy who was a witness and seen a guy who he got off for killing.
That's right, exactly, and that's why he killed himself because in the end he's like, I'm here for covering up something that I got acquitted for.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. It's like great. So the cover-up's worse than the crime, literally and figuratively.
I'll try this in the next life.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking of Jose Fernandez because they go and build a statue of him, and someone had said to me, and I thought it was a great point. All right, they built the statue because he died. Mm-hmm. If he had lived, and he would have killed these two friends, he'd be in court. He'd be a pariah. He'd be done. He wouldn't be, he'd be done.
If he was a good pitcher, he'd still be pitching, though.
He kind of would be in jail because he had so many things that he was doing wrong.
If he was out on bail, though.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of, that's kind of hard to be out on bail for what he would have done. That would have been murder. I mean, it would have been manslaughter of some type, but, it would have been kind of, and the amount, and how the speed, the intoxication, whether it was alcohol, cocaine, whatever it was, lots of stuff going on.
I mean, you, like you said the other day, if you claim you're sleeping, it's not a crime.
That's right. Exactly. Say you fell asleep at the wheel.
And I don't understand the stuff like this, why everything that has to do with... I understand you're going through a case or whatever, but everything does not need to be a headline. Like, when they started talking about how he has a lover in jail and all that, that's none of our business.
Came in as a tight end, left as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
They were looking to... They were looking to explain... what happened to him in prison? Basically, they're saying so all of a sudden, they wanted to push a progressive agenda to say, do you see, he was gay. Yeah. That's why he had demons, and he played football and he was suppressing it and blah blah blah. It's like, no, this guy was a psychopath. Whether he was gay or not, he was a psychopath. Anything else is outside the box. I mean, this guy was a psychopath. This guy was because his brother, by all accounts, is a normal guy. So, it just happened to be that his brother got out of the gang, got out all that kind of stuff, has a job, gainfully employed in Texas and everything. And this is a guy who was trouble at Florida State. It's amazing when you think of who was on that Florida State team. Cam Newton was there before he got
Tim
kicked
Tebow,
out.
right?
They had the Angels and the Saints, right? There's Tebow, Mr. Angel, whatever, but he's got Aaron Hernandez, he's got Cam Newton, and there was another guy there that was had killed a guy in the NFL as well. Was on that same team as well. It's like that must have been some locker room. And who was the coach that was in charge? Oh, Urban Meyer, Saint Urban, right? Named after a pope. Yeah, Urban's quite the saint, isn't he now?
That team, those years, if you think about the players with Percy Harvin, they had another running back. What linebackers? They had a few linebackers. That team was stacked.
Yeah,
that team,
that's
that was a
and that's why
football
guys
team.
like Saban and Urban Meyer don't come to the pros. I mean, Saban did for about 13 games. Don't come to the pros because all you have to do is reload. You have 6 starters essentially. Your 6th-string guy can start somewhere else. Your 6th-string guy can start at Ole Miss, which is a Division I big school. Doesn't matter. You just reload every year. No pun intended, but you reload every year when you're whoever a big time college program.
You know what happens sometimes? Believe it or not, Miami's famous for doing this. They're getting a little bit of older guys too. That they find out of the blue that they never got a college degree.
Well, they get the JUCO players. They get to transfer, the JUCO transfers and everything. Did the Celtics lose the game?
Yeah, he needed to stretch. It's a 103-71 with a minute left in the third. Yeah, he needed to stretch. Reality is hitting
there
now.
are so many holes in the basket.
Reality is hitting.
Yeah, reality is hitting that. Now we won't have to talk about Boston no more. That's beautiful.
No,
when we do come back, it will be game 1, so we definitely won't be talking about Boston. I love it.
I mean, we're gonna talk about the draft. We'll talk about free agency.
Well, you know what we'll do? I will make sure that we book before. When is the NBA draft? Is after the playoffs, right?
Right after, I think.
So we will book a Celtics beat reporter. So we could talk to him about what he thinks what's going to happen.
How about Ira Winderman?
I like that.
Is he ESPN?
The Heat one that always goes on the fan.
Oh yeah. I think he knows somebody at the fan. That's what that is. No, who would get someone from the Boston Globe, basically, or I think Boston.com, which is Boston.
How do you do that? You know somebody there? Let's put an inquiry.
No, a little bit of both. I mean, I know enough people there.
Yeah.
Like I know Pete Abraham is the Red Sox beat reporter.
How about Bob Ryan? Is he still there?
Did he die? I'm trying to think.
LeBron's now the all-time playoff leader. He surpassed Michael Jordan now in points.
Interesting. Very interesting.
How about a 10-second breath of fresh air? The Special Olympics. Guys, young ladies and young gentlemen that are out there just running for the fun of it.
Did you ever see...
Instead of what we talk about.
Did you ever see the movie, was it with Johnny Knoxville?
Yes.
Was it The Ringer, I think it was called?
Yes.
They made that movie, Katherine Heigl, they made that movie in conjunction with the Special Olympics.
Absolutely.
So it was really had an uplifting message. It was that was a very good. Well, the Special Olympics was started by our Sergeant Shriver and his wife Eunice Kennedy Shriver. So who is Maria Shriver's parents? Who is Arnold Schwarzenegger's ex-in-laws? Right.
It's just nice to see a smile.
Yeah, absolutely. When you compete, just to compete, right?
Yeah.
Well, you could see just watching kid events, though it was kind of funny. So the rain was coming down, and I'm driving on Stewart Avenue earlier tonight before the show,
goes up, Chris.
and I see there was a Garden City kids are out there, the 9-year-olds out there practicing lacrosse. Mm-hmm. Like, okay.
They had the championships over here this past weekend.
Wow.
The Division I.
Now, Mr. KJ Brooks was quite the lacrosse player back in the day.
You didn't go play for Duke?
No.
Marcus Stroman did, but that was baseball.
Yeah, no. They had at Hofstra. They had the quarterfinals of the NCAA championships at.
Well, the Duke coach John Danowski used to be the Hofstra coach,
Schuart Stadium,
and then when the scandal hit, he left and went to his son's team.
I'll say this: my only regret with lacrosse is that I wasn't selfish enough. I should have been like Shaquille O'Neal, get the hell out of my way.
Yeah,
but I played so much of a team player, and we just kept losing. Like. I remember we versed Southampton. We lost 21-2.
Oof.
And I was only one, me and other guy were only one to score a goal.
Southampton, that's a trip. Deer Park to Southampton.
Yeah.
I think it was Eastport South Met. I just remember
that's going north-south, right? I mean, essentially.
No,
Eastport South Met is southeast, right?
It's just past William Ford Parkway.
Okay, so it is still, yeah.
The only regret I ever had in football, my senior year, we're 2-0 now. The second game is already decided. We beating up on the team. I'm trying to pad the stats. So I asked my coach to go in. He's like, I don't really want to go in. I was like, I just want to go in there. You know what I mean? We have a bunch of young kids, and I go in. they run like some type of screenplay. A guy illegally hits me, messes up my ankle, so I'm playing with a messed up ankle for the whole season. And I could have just said I had already had like I think 4 sacks in 2 games, so it just messed me up.
But that goes to the point of the 10-minute overtime.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just 1 second longer you played, right? And it changed everything. And that's what they're trying to do.
The play as soon as I came in, and then I had to come off the field.
Now, they always say when you play not to get hurt, you get hurt, right? When you're thinking too much, as opposed to, but I do think, because I was in the parking garage at the hospital today, and I saw some kid being brought in from some whatever sport he was, probably lacrosse, I think, based on what he was wearing, and there he is, did something to his leg, and I'm thinking, you know what? Knock wood, I haven't had to worry about taking my kids with injuries like that to the hospital.
Yeah.
And I think I'm like, you know what? Because they're not doing those sports. It's like you're introducing something that could hurt you badly by doing such sports, physical contact sports.
And that's my first ever serious injury I had. It just so happened to come senior year. It was just a lot going on.
And just remember, your injury, you did not have the access to the physical therapy that the young people have today.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
So. And one of the funniest things is when Oakland goes to Nevada, again, when they be playing in Nevada, they have the electric fence, which they have around Jersey. Is you're actually going to be able, even though it's against the law, if you have a phone in your hand with the app, with the betting, you can bet the games, any game, by sitting and watching the Oakland, the Raiders, whatever their name might be.
They'll be the Las Vegas Raiders. That's what they'll call them.
Yeah, but Nevada's got rules against gambling. You can't gamble. You can't establish. But the whole thing with the mobile devices is you circumvented the law entirely at that point.
But they can put blockers in.
Didn't a stadium get delayed and now it's not going to open until 2020? What stadium is that?
That's Los Angeles. They just moved the World Series.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean?
It's going to be in Tampa, Super Bowl.
The World Series.
The World Series.
We know what you meant. Leave them alone, Mark.
Thank
Your
you.
team sucks. All of them.
The World Series in Tampa. I'm like, oh yeah.
Thank you for this bully. He's such a bully.
With your Minnesota Lynx
It's not enough to
shirt
bully KJ. You got to bully me.
I heard World Series in Tampa. I'm like, when's this?
And I was just curious as far as the co-ed softball team being put together. How many of you guys are playing on it?
We changed it to bowling, actually. Co-ed bowling team.
Is that what they're doing?
I think Tova's going to lead the charge.
Oh, I think bowling is a fantastic sport. I try to tell every kid looking to do a sport that bowling is a varsity sport in high school. You get a varsity letter, and you can get to college.
I want
bowling.
Steve Dasso on my team.
He's good at bowling.
You know what Nassau used to have?
He's good at bowling.
I know. Oh, the senior homes have hill trips?
Speaking of breaking hips, but
no, Nassau used to have a rifle team.
Yep, a lot of high schools on Long Island, because I know of several of them, had the rifle ranges underground in the basement, and then they wanted. Yeah, and Chaminade had one as well. They wound up using them for storage later on because rifle teams didn't wind up being a popular thing. Some of them have brought them back, but they're generally down. They're below the school or below like the football field, so you'll find them. Just go ask your old high school, see if they still have a rifle range.
My high school probably not. Plainview.
They probably did, because after World War II, during World War II, everyone was.
No, they had even Nassau went up until the 90s. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Well, I played a few. I didn't because I was in New York City, but I scrimmaged a few football teams in Long Island going up to the season. What's in Long Island's water? Those kids are built different. You know what I'm saying? It's just they came on the field and I'm like, wait a second, you guys already in college?
It's kind of funny. I said to because I saw my son saw a kid when I was in the car today. We passed him by. It's a kid from his class, and it's not a really nice kid. And I'm like, he's just a fat. And I use strong language. And my son's like, he's not fat. You're fat. I'm like, I'm 46. He's 14. He's fat.
You know what it is, though? Why those kids might be
right?
big, and Chris and KJ, you might be backing me up on this. There's a different sense of home life when you're on Long Island compared to, say, Queens.
Yeah.
And that I feel like there's a lot more pressure on you when you're living on Long Island than, say, compared to the 5 boroughs, where then you're not at home all the time. You're hanging out in the neighborhood. You're running around.
I'm just seeing a ton of fat high school kids, and I didn't know any fat kids in high school.
Yeah.
I was like, I just see them. It's like, wow.
But these kids look like they end the gym for 6 days, and then we just so happen to play them on the 7th day. Just came here. I'm just like, come on. Do you bodybuild or you play football?
How about that healthy lunch? What happened to that?
Yeah.
No soda in the schools.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at them.
I will say neither one of my sons have ever had soda in their lives.
You know what's weird is that we had soda in middle school, but we didn't have soda in high school.
Really?
And when I was in middle school, there used to be lines around the cafeteria.
Well, middle school is just a joke in general. Middle school, they tell these kids when they're in 5th grade that, oh, you're graduating from something. You're a big boy now. No, you're not. You're not. And so they get an inflated sense of purpose, whatever. And the middle school years are horrible. At least high school,